Welcome to the first class for the art of negotiating the deal. One of the most important steps is to intimidate your opposition, so you want to lean back and make steady eye contact. And while you do this, with one hand, put on a pair of sunglasses without breaking eye contact, so as to unnerve your negotiating foe. And then if the negotiation is going poorly, at this point, you just start to lower your shirt until it goes better. Keep going. Just. And then, you make the deal. Today, we're talking about the art of negotiating the deal. Really hope I don't get sued for that one. Really, I've been asked to make this negotiating video for quite some time, but it took me a while to get to a position in one of my saves where I felt like I was going to be able to show you all of the different types of negotiating. If you want to watch the save that I'm about to show you with Bate Borisov, you can check me out on Twitch. The link is down below in the description, and it's popping up on the screen because Reese is cool. And while you're down there, I've linked all of Reese's stuff as well. He's doing a bunch of cool stuff on YouTube talking about editing and me, I think, weirdly enough. It's all down there. If you go down there, there's a bunch of links. You click on all of them, your life's going to get better. At least marginally. That I can promise you. But what we are going to do is go through all the different types of contract negotiations you have. We're going to negotiate a contract for a staff member. We're going to negotiate loan contracts. We're going to negotiate transfers out and in. We're going to negotiate a contract for somebody on our team who's very good and somebody on our team who's not very good. This is basically every different type of contract negotiation I could possibly think of. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to cover every specific situation for you, but that is the cross that I must bear. Our first person in this example is Junya Sakurai, who is essentially a YouTube skiller from Japan. He wants to go out on loan. Who am I to stand in the way of his ambition? I will be showing you how to offer him out for loan. We'll be accepting loan deals and what the percentages mean and the different things you can do. So first, we're going to go up to transfer. You have to transfer, you go down to offer to clubs. This is incredibly valuable. It took me years to find the offer to clubs option. I used to just list people for loan and transfer and receive the offers that come back in for that. That's the stupidest thing you could possibly do. I mean that in the nicest way possible, but it really is. When you offer out to clubs, you control your own destiny. Well, as long as someone wants to participate in your destiny. Sometimes they don't. Back to the offer out screen. Once you're here, you see you have a transfer offer section and a loan offer section. We're obviously going to go to the loan offer section, mess with the transfer one later. In this loan offer section, you see percentages. Now, these percentages are the amount that the other team is paying. So if you're bringing somebody in on loan and you say, 50%, you're paying 50% of their wages. Obviously, that would be the case for either team in that. Good job, Zealand. Yeah, cool. Math. The point being, the percentage you see is the percentage the person receiving the loaned player is going to be paying. And you can lock it in. I can't stress this enough because it drives me absolutely insane when you offer the person out and you don't lock in the percentages. You can get loan offers back, and this works on transfers too, that just don't match what you're asking for. I only want people that are going to pay 100% of the wage, so I'm just going to go ahead and click that lock next to both of them and lock it in. The next most important thing when you're offering somebody out for loan is proposed playing time. This is how much they're going to be on the field. I always want at least regular starter. Obviously, if you can get more, that would be great. But when you start to push it to important and star player, you can kind of exclude a lot of good opportunities. Clubs that would give this person a lot of playing time but don't feel they can give them that much playing time. So I go to regular starter, I lock it in, and then I'll go in and add, through this add section, an optional future fee that is incredibly high and I would be very happy to get for this player, but I'll just throw it in there in case they get into great form, and I'll lock that optional future fee in as well. You always want to make sure that the loan cannot be terminated, because that means that they can cancel the loan and send the player back to you. It basically never happens, but it's in the game. you want to make sure you can also recall the player. In very specific situations, you won't be able to, like when you're not in a transfer window. But other than that, nobody's going to try and remove it, so I don't even worry about locking stuff in. But with Sakurai, he's only 18 years old. We're not going to mess around with the fees today. And once we've got all this finalized, I'm going to go ahead and offer him out. Don't show me this message again. Sounds good. Next, we need to go buy somebody. So let's hit my shortlist. Fortunately, and conveniently not planned at all, we do have a guy that I kind of want to sign that we've just started scouting named Emmanuel Diarasuba. Diarasuba is obviously going to need a new face, 18-year-old Ivorian who is rated fairly high, at least in terms of potential. He's young. He's only 4 months into being 18. Yeah, I like this guy. And there's a lot of fancy stuff going on with him because he still plays in Ivory Coast, so I can explain even more things to you. So we've looked at him, we've scouted him up, and now we want to sign this guy. We actually have a couple of different options because he is currently on a month-to-month contract. If you see that compensation is 0 or that it's very low, you can go to contract and approach to sign that player. You click that and go through a contract negotiation. But what I want to do is see if I can get a transfer for less than $400,000, which is what the compensation is. So his value is $21,000. That's what I'm going to put the offer in and see what they respond with. No harm in it, right? So that it's an offer that I want to accept, we are going to remove percentage of profit from next sale from the offer. You can do this on any transfer offer that you make on any player. I recommend it. Just put percentage of profit from next sale. Click this drop down and remove and exclude. That prevents them from being able to exclude any percentage of profit or just percentage of sale in the negotiation at all. It feels like a magic trick, but it's awesome. That's how they put it into the game, where you sit down and you're like, I'm not giving you a freaking percent. Okay. Okay. And then once you're done with that, there's a button called Suggest Terms, which is once again behind my head. You go down to it, click. Boys, we've done it! And after you've suggested the terms and they agree, this is acceptable, it's I don't know why, because they could have gotten $400,000 off me, but that's not my problem. Make offer. I want to not show this message again because I don't know why I haven't done that before. And then boom, the offer is out. We await a contract negotiation. While we wait for that, we've got to find the person that we want to sell. And there is somebody that I've wanted to sell for some time. His name is Marino Rios. There is just one small problem. He is currently in England, playing on loan with West Brom. Silky smooth, Zealand. Good job. Go to transfer and then recall from loan. Are you sure you want to recall Marino Rios from loan? I'm sure. He will return to the club shortly. I got it. Once he gets back, then we're going to run through how to offer him out for transfer, because we need to sell one player really to help keep the books balanced throughout the course of the season. And I don't see a world where Rios really fits into the first team anymore after the most recent additions we've made. This brings us to our pure contract negotiation section, where I'm going to offer a contract to a player that is very good in my first team and a player that is not very good. Not even in my first team, just at the club, so you can see the difference in those types of negotiations. Our candidate for the great player that we need to negotiate with is Laureano Valentini, the new club captain. To strike up a new contract negotiation with him, because we want to make sure his contract stays extended as far out as possible, so if he gets unsettled, we can hang on to him anyways. You go to contract, offer, new contract. And in this first page, you're going to see potentially a lot of things and potentially not. He's going to make a playing time request. This is the general understanding you have with the player about how often they're going to be on the field. And they're usually pretty intuitive. A first team player is going to want to play probably 2 out of 3 matches, or at least 3 out of 5 matches. They're going to want to play the majority of the matches. An important player would want to play 4 out of 5, and a star player, every time they're fit, they're probably going to want to play. Now, if you're going the other direction for somebody that is over the age of 22, which is when you lose all of your hot prospect and youngster options down at the bottom, your squad player just wants to be in the team every once in a while. Your impact sub, less so. Fringe players, I honestly don't play at all. And emergency backups probably shouldn't be on your team in the first place. What they come to you with is obviously what they want. He wants to be an important player, which is an upgrade from the amount of playing time that he has now. But I have a little trick up my sleeve. Since I re-extend this guy's contract every 2 years, I can set what his playing time is going to be up to 4 years in the future. So I'm going to go to 2031 and tell this man he is going to be an important player but right now I want him to be a regular starter. You can add a bunch of other promises too, the vast majority of which you won't interact with, and if they pop up down here, you can remove and exclude them from negotiation in the same way that you saw me do in the loan moves. It was the transfer one. Here I am forgetting I can actually show you. Want to treat the team as a stepping stone? Remove and exclude. How dare you? Well, let's see if this works. Let's go down. There's a suggest button down here, and it does. So when we finalize the promises, we will then have the option to go in and negotiate the contract. Before we leave this page, there's a couple more interesting things. You can see how many players in each role you have down here in the left corner, and you can also see the general state of the player. A lot of interesting information will pop up in this player interest panel. Just look at it when you're in a negotiation. He's actually as interested in Benfica as he is in me. I'm offended. He's my captain. Well, let's negotiate anyways. Okay. He's already locked in his contract length. So you'll have this. Sometimes they'll lock in release clauses. You can't do anything about it. Just as you can lock in certain parts of a contract, so can they in the negotiation. He wants a 4-year contract. He wants $1 million a year. His loyalty bonus is how much he gets for not leaving. The agent fee is coming right out of your transfer fee into their pocket. And all of these other bonuses are not counted in your wage budget, but will come out of your club balance. So be careful. The board will limit how much money you can give them in bonuses, but that limit is usually pretty high. You can bankrupt your club with bonuses. It's not even close. Only do it if you know you're going to be able to make that money back. Give them all the bonuses in the world. You know you're going to be fine, and the board's just limiting you because it's a way to get around the wage budget. But there are obvious pitfalls to going around the wage budget. But typically, I'll come into a contract negotiation, I'll look at all this and say, okay. Certain people that are sticklers say, I don't want to pay you to sit on the bench, so we're going to remove and exclude his unused substitute fee. And then we'll just click this down, and usually you should set a target of how much you want to get them to take. My target's going to be around $900,000. How much is he getting paid right now? He's getting paid $884. So obviously he's not going to want to take a pay cut. But my target is around $900,000. I'm going to go put the pay amount just over what he wants before, and I'm going to see if I can get him down to $910 or $915. How much time you have is dictated by the agent's patience. This is not a good amount of patience. But having not a lot of patience can sometimes be a good thing. They'll just agree to whatever you offer. So patience is less important than you'd think. Because sometimes a very patient negotiator will just keep going back to the same number 15 times and end up kicking you in negotiations anyways. It's time to suggest. That was easier than normal. Typically, when you're bouncing back and forth, they're gonna walk down and you're gonna walk up and you're gonna get to 915, 920 in that kind of situation. Sometimes you can bully him down, and this guy was a very impatient agent who's just gonna take whatever I offered him, which is great news for me. Keep in mind, once the color goes orange, you have one more chance to make an acceptable offer, and then they walk. So when it gets orange, get serious. So now we finalize and we wait for him to take it under consideration. Keep in mind that if you are negotiating with other teams' players, they could choose, even if you see all green stuff there, to accept an offer from that team instead of yours. And if, say, Laureano Valentini was under a transfer offer from somebody else, then he could obviously choose to accept that offer over mine. So just getting it to be green and all acceptable does not mean you're guaranteed to win. You certainly can't win if it's another color. Now for a contract negotiation with a guy that is not very good. Well, I mean, he is good. You're beautiful, Ladislav. But he's not as good as Valentini. He's not a regular first-team player, but we would like to renew his contract anyways. And this is perfect. He's actually getting a little uppity. He says, I want to be a regular starter. And here I come with the same strategy I used against Valentini. What if I told you were going to be a regular starter in 3 years? And at that point, I will have renegotiated a new contract. It's never going to come back to bite me, ever. And we suggest the terms, and because we're on such good terms, he likes me, he's an agreeable person, then he accepts. We get into the offer, and he's getting a little frisky again. He's asking for this yearly salary raise. We're going to remove and exclude. Now, be careful. I've seen this situation, especially when I'm trying to sign players from other teams, spiral. I'll remove and exclude and offer the exact same wage, and they will actually go, screw you. I'm turning the contract down straight away. Now, Kostolansky, I know he loves me. He loves being at the team. He's a club-grown player, for crying out loud. He is not going to immediately turn this contract down. In fact, he's going to accept it. But if you're negotiating for somebody that you don't really understand and they might not want to come play for you, then just go ahead and raise the wage just a little bit to make sure that they don't automatically reject your contract after you remove and exclude whatever you want to from down here. Got it? And now that I've handled all of that, we have to advance and see how all of this plays out. We know that my boy is going to be coming back from West Brom, and then we can do the transfer stuff. So apparently they don't want the $45 million optional future fee, which makes a whole lot of sense because it's completely optional. So they're not obligated to pay it at all, but still. Rios is back, and Dirasuba we can now negotiate. Our expectations, based off of my general manager's perception, is that he will want youngster playing time in this salary. Try and take stock of this, especially if you have no idea what they're going to want going into it. He does want youngster. We go through and negotiate the contract, and he wants a salary that looks just like that. We'll push it down a little bit, and we're not we are negotiating with an agent. A very stubborn one, might I add. I am not willing to lose this guy over... I am also not... I don't care about $1,000 that much. We're just going to take it. The art of negotiating the deal. Yikes. That was a really good agent for some dude in the Ivory Coast. I mean, he won him an extra $1,000. And I honestly got to a point where I just didn't care enough. I mean, you can go in here and type in a specific number, but I cannot be asked, really. Like, this is an incredible deal. The guy's not even getting paid a living wage because this is per year. I mean, $21,000 a year. Before I get too distracted, we go to Marino Rios, who is now back. We can now go to offer to clubs and go to transfer. Fun things in here. I will typically start out by offering him out for an unspecified amount. And then I will start setting benchmarks if I get no interest, because sometimes they'll assume you're going to want more than you actually want. The one main thing that you're going to need to remove and exclude from this, when you're offering players out, and when you're offering for players to come in, you want to remove the percentage of profit. When you're offering players to go out, you want to remove selling team salary contribution. You click remove and exclude, they cannot include it. I only add it back in, or at least the option to have it, if I can't get any offers at all for the player without the selling team salary. Let's just offer him out. Buttons behind my head. Boom. He's offered out. We've got to send Sakurai out again. Let me do that real quick. All right, we have our responses. Let's see what we got. An offer for Rios for $1.5 million. Now, it's locked in. When it's grayed out like this, it's guaranteed. We do not like that offer, so we're going to reject it. Loan offers made for Sakurai. Beautiful. We've got 3 loan offers. I know for a fact that Hamburg's just going to be the best one, so we are going to click this check mark and accept it. And then the other 2 we can actually get rid of. If you click this little drop down, you can reject or accept all unresponded offers. So you go through, figure out whether you're going to be accepting or rejecting the majority. And I'm obviously rejecting the majority. And then I'll go through and find the ones I want to accept. Reject all unresponded. Saves you some time. So now we've got to send out Marino Rios for what I would consider a better offer. So let's try 7.5. I've set it on 7.5. We'll offer him out again. I mess around with this stuff all the time. There is no reason to be hasty. I have the entire transfer window. Well, it looks like nobody wants Marino Rios, so I'm going to have to put some work into drumming up interest for him. And what I'll do is wait a week. I'll offer him out again. If that doesn't work, I'll put him on the transfer list to let everybody in the world know that he's available. Then I'll start offering him out, because he's a wonderful striker that I should be able to get 20-25 million for if I can catch people in the right kind of bidding mood. Which obviously, for whatever reason, is not right now. But such is life. While I'm waiting for Marino Rios, I am going to get a bunch of offers for my other players, including Kostolansky, who we're talking about a contract with right now. Now, these offers are being automatically rejected. How you get it to do that is you click on the player and go to transfer and then transfer status. Here you can set an asking price, and you can reject offers that are lower than the asking price automatically. So if you want to play ball for Yarlin Estrada, you better come with $15 million, or else it's going to be automatically rejected. And this saves me a lot of time, because everybody and their mother wants literally every single one of my players, except for Marino Rios. For absolutely no reason. If you want to keep players from getting loan offers, you click on them and go to transfer status and make them unavailable for loan. And then you won't have to worry about it. But honestly, I kind of want to see decent loan offers for this guy. Maybe in a top league, I'd be willing to accept. Now, while we might be struggling to sell Marino Rios, our backup striker Jeremy Stroud does have an offer that I'm pretty happy with. We only bought him for $55,000 not too long ago. $150,000, I'm willing to bet I could get them to double it. Now, I got to keep in mind where the offer is coming from. A Belarusian team's not going to have as much money as Fenerbahce, who's coming in before, or if one of the big clubs in the world comes in, you know you can get more money out of them. I'll suggest the terms, and now we're off on a negotiation. Cool! Remove and exclude. I want the money now, or I don't want it at all. $275. You've got a deal. And that's how it's done. And as we get to the end of this video, there's one more thing I want to tell you about. For that, we're actually going to go back to our boy Jeremy Stroud, who looks like he's on the move. So let's go to transfers. This is huge for transfer negotiating. Make sure you hide inactive deals, because there's always a bunch of former deals and stuff floating around. We go to Jeremy Stroud. Now I'm going to make my head disappear. And here's Jeremy Stroud, and we see we have a drop-down arrow. That's because I'd already accepted an offer for Jeremy Stroud of $150,000. Now, I don't want that offer anymore. I click this X. The offer is gone, and Jeremy Stroud's only offer that he can consider and accept is $275,000, which makes me a lot more money. So once I start getting offers in for Marino Rios, I will go in, reject the lower offer, and keep pushing it higher. Once you get an offer that you like, it's not over. Offer him out for more and see how much you can get, then reject all the offers that are for a lower amount of money, and all of a sudden you'll be maximizing all of your income. But Rios is a good example of how timing is really everything. We just need to have a club that is aware of his existence and that actually needs a striker and has the money to pay the amount that I believe he's worth. So be patient, wait, offer out, transfer list only if you absolutely have to drum up interest. Like I'll transfer list him maybe in the last 10 days of the window if nobody's in on him before, and then negotiate your backside off. Now go forth and conquer the agents and other people in your way. Everything in your way. Now you conquer it. Right on, soldier. Oh my goodness! Hey! We gotta record the moment, you know, chat.